Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Reviewing Comics with me, your host, Alexander Turbin. Today I'm going to be going over J.K. Paper's Nightblade. It's mostly done by the Toilet Crew, which is a comic book group that I'm part of, and I'm actually in this book as well. It's a big, beefy book, so I'm only going to do half of it today, and then I'll probably do the other half next week. I tried to do a review of it last week or a couple weeks ago, but it was when I was kind of sick, and my throat just kind of gave out halfway through it, so I just kind of gave up. And I've been trying to think of how to go about talking about this magnificent piece of literature we have here. But before we get into that, I'd like to show you my own stuff. This is Random Access. It's a full size, sometimes full color, 12-page comic book. I put this out monthly, and you can get this at patreon.com/AlexTurbin. Or you can go to my website, alexanderturbin.com, and check them out there. I have these and Mutandus and The Forlorn and all of the other comic book stuff I've done over the years. Or you could just message me at AlexTurbin0441 at Instagram. I'm always willing to work with people that are into my art, and so let me know what you think. And I would greatly appreciate you guys checking it out. Helps the channel, helps my art career, and helps humanity in general. And I think we need some humanity helping lately. Nightblade. Like I said, it's a J.K. Papers joint, I guess you would call. It has all of these artists, different artists, and the somebody said a terminology for what it actually was. If you know the terminology for a comic book that is started by one person and then with one character that everybody uses, and each artist does a page, they only see the previous few pages and the story. They just generate the story from there. Some of this I might have to try to black out for my YouTube followers there. YouTube doesn't like the boobs. So it's created by Toilet Comics Crew, front cover by Jake Quirk, which is amazing, like Jake's all of Jake's work. With the back cover by Paul Courtjohn. You can see him in Random Access. He does a one-page monthly thing, as well as Chris Knox does. Edited by Nathaniel J.K., and that's where the J.K. Papers comes from. And he's the one that kind of created the character, or I think there were a bunch of people in the crew that got together and created the character. And they wanted a archetype, stereotype 90s character, something that you would see out of X-Men, the anime series, or any kind of Image comic or something like that. He's just your standard 90s comic book character, which is fantastic. Like I said, it has all of these different artists working on it. There's 40 different artists, and I think the page count is 40. I'm gonna go to half of it, and I'm gonna go page by page and talk about each artist's contribution to the work, and we'll just go from there. So Nate started the whole thing off with the first page, and it's basically Nightblade, who's a warrior soldier. He's like commanded by the military / corporation / everything, and he just kind of goes crazy. He just goes on a killing rampage, and but he was killed. Was he killed? Yeah, he was mortally wounded in battle, but the best cybergeneticist brought me back, fixed my brain, and turned me into Nightblade. So he's like a different kind of character. He's a little bit of RoboCop stuff. I really love Nate's excitement here. The dynamism. I'm going to say dynamism a lot. I don't know if that's a word. If you guys want to double check me on if we play Scrabble on dynamism, feel free. I don't know if it's a word, but if it's not, I just made it up. So Nightblade, he's got this awesome sword. His awesome sword turns into a motorcycle, a flying motorcycle, and he just kind of takes off. So he's off into the ether. He doesn't really remember his mission, doesn't really know his name, other than he's Nightblade, doesn't know anything. So it's a great way that Nate started the comic, and it just it's a great jumping off point for the next artist, who is Peter Sanders, at Enter Sanders Man. I'm not going to be able to say the at Instagrams, because some of these are just crazy, and I just can't say them. I'm sorry. But you can get these. Maybe I'll try to do my first link on YouTube and make a link as to how you can get a Nightblade from Nate and the Toilet Comics crew. But anyway, it's Peter Sanders, page 2. Boom. This doesn't have the dynamism that Nate's does, but it's got a lot of different things. It's got a really nice blacks. I love the black borders, and it's also got a quietness that a lot of artists don't have. I really do. Comics don't always have to be dynamic. I know a lot of people think that they do, but really, my favorite artists are the ones that are more quiet, and they have a little more subtlety to them. A la Mobius is one of my favorite artists of all time. I wouldn't consider him dynamic. I would consider him quiet. Same thing with John Romita Jr. There's just a little more quiet, a little more subtle, a little bit more toned down, but not just doesn't mean they're not as fantastic. So Nightblade, let's read it. Everything crap again. The local wildlife seems hostile, so he doesn't really know where he is or who he is or whatever. The little one is strong. He sliced my belt. So he's just fighting some monsters and stuff, which is really pretty cool, which is exactly what you would think of a 90s character doing. So Mushroom Zero. I kind of wish they had their real names in here, but I totally understand it that they don't. Another one who is a little bit more dynamic than the previous page, but a lot more blacks. It's almost like a Frank Miller, Sin City, positive space, negative space kind of thing. And so in this, Nightblade has slain somebody. You were slain, and yet you speak. Focus not on the form I take, but in the epic nature of my voice. It's me, Nightblade. So Nightblade has just killed Nightblade and released a spirit of Nightblade. This is going to be crazy, and I love it. So that was Mushroom Zero. And so the next page is by Bong Squatch, and I love his art. He's got some really funky lines going on. Not so much lines, funky shapes. When I excuse me, when I tried to review this before, I do remember likening to Bong Squatch's work to Kevin ONeal, who did Martial Law and what's that thing with Alan Moore, the Gentleman. Anyway, that's what happens when you hit 50. You start losing your memory and you start not be able to talk about stuff. Here's a great shot. It's looks like it's an Akira homage, and I really love the blacks. He's really does a great job with the shadows and the shading and the blacks, and I love this. I love this the gunfire. You've got all of this dark black shading, and then you've got all of this white. It really makes the gun pop out. And so he's got this creature, or Nightblade creature, and he knows why he's here. He's going to help him or something. Nightblade grabs onto. We meet again. We don't know who this is, but Nightblade. I guess the dude is trying to steal his bike. Nightblade ain't having any of it, so he just blasts him with his gun. But the guy gets away, and one baby to another. Nightblade, catch me if you can. So he takes off. This is the guy that stole his bike, and So the next one is Brad Dwyer. I'm sorry, I keep coughing. Nightblade's going to go after the guy who stole his bike, obviously. He only has one option. He hops on top of the creature, Nightblade, and follows the guy that stole his bike. Again, I really love the blacks. I really love the negative space. This is really dynamic. I love this. I really love the panel positioning of this. This is probably my favorite panel positioning so far. It really transitions from here to here, but it leads your eye. Normally having a kind of a panel entrance where nothing really happens is, I would say, not really that great. But this is fantastic because it leads your eye to boom. That's exactly what's going on, and you've got the motion lines and stuff, and you've got the creatures and the characters and everything, and then it leads off of into the panel. It's great. This is one of my favorite panel layouts, probably in a long time that I've seen. It really drives your eye and drives the story incredibly. So Nightblade's after the dude that's that stole his bike. So the next guy is Jared Smith, Sassafras of Doom, at Sassafras of Doom. Got to cover the boobies. This is really loose. I really love this. This is a little bit Eddie Campbell-ish. Bill Sienkiewicz-ish. I really love the looseness and the loose pencil, the loose inking and the loose panels. There's no direct lines on any of the panels, which really it complements it. It complements the images inside the panels. And I also love how they're kind of big panels, and then small panels, kind of just to fit as much story in as you can. I'm not gonna try to really keep going with the story because every page is so different because of exactly how it was put together and how each artist interprets the story and how it's going to go and how it previously went. So yeah, but I really love this page, which was Jared Smith. Matchy here is the next one, and I love this. This is probably the first real funny part to the book. The others were kind of tongue-in-cheek humor, but this is really like, bam, this is humorous. Matchy adds all of the pockets that is really integral to any 90s character. And I love his inking work. He's got such beautiful line work. It's his feathering was really truly fantastic. I worked with a guy on Mutandis, my inker, and one of the things that I really remember from him was that we worked on it for like 3 or 4 years, and then he went to work on something else, and we were talking. We met and we were talking, and he said, "You know that thing with the ink that you kind of just do a swoosh? I finally learned that." And I'm thinking, you learned it after we did Mutandis? But anyway, I digress. A fantastic page by Matchy. I love that it goes to the next page by shooting the gun. We'll have to kind of go through that and see how many panels end with, or pages end with, Nightblade shooting the gun or stabbing his sword. So here we go to the next one. That was Matchy, and there we go, Jamie Barrows. I love this art. I love this stuff. This right here might be one of my favorite things that I've ever seen Jamie do. It's talk about dynamic and the foreshortening. I love foreshortening, and it's awesome because he's got this great this diagonal panel or whatever, and then he's got great foreshortening, and then he goes back to the side view, and then he goes to more foreshortening. So it really can show his talents and the way he puts the story together, and it's really fascinating. And I love the fact that he's got all of these little line works, the muscles and the veins and arteries and stuff, and the lines from the creature, and the shading on the gun. And then he also went through and did the black and white, or the gray almost wash, and it really adds to it. It's beautiful. Would it have looked as good without the gray tones? I don't know, but it's really fantastic how it is. it's funny how when you're deciding to do something, I wonder if this is Nate's contribution to the page, because he was given all of the pages by the artist and he assembled it all together. So I'm pretty sure he did this background, which is really great, Nate. I think if this is you, Jamie, I apologize, and it looks great too. But as I was getting back to it, it's funny how when you're deciding how to create your pages and your panels and your illustration stuff, what you decide to do, whether or not you go, you're going into it like a straight, like deep black and white, like a Frank Miller kind of Sin City thing, or whether you're going to try to throw in a lot of intricate details and stuff, or whether you're going to add some gray tones or not some gray tones, or a gray wash or not a gray wash. It's fascinating how artists come to the decisions that they come to, whether they're right, whether they're wrong. I guess history just is going to decide, but it's a fascinating process, and I love it. So the next one is Claude Willis. This is an unusual panel setup. I love the bold lines. Again, it's a great distinction from the previous page where there's lots of little noodly lines as compared to these big bold lines. It almost looks like Rambo and I don't know who that would be. Rambo and somebody. But it's like a Nightblade going back into the 80s, and these guys are just saying who he is. I love this. I love the line work. Excuse me. Really, it's really soft. It's a little Dave Mazzucchelli-ish, which is one of my favorite artists as well. It doesn't have a lot of dark shadows or anything like that, but it's beautiful. It's everything points to what you want it to, and then it ends with a nice black panel to contrast and compare with what was going up front. So up top, which is a really nice compatibility to it, I guess. So Ernie Bushmiller is next, and again, lots of negative space, although this is has some real nice motion. It's dynamic in a different kind of way. I would say this is dynamic in motion, whereas a lot of things are more dynamic in poses and stuff. So I love this, how it's moving around, and it turns from a motorcycle into the Nightblade blade again. So it's really awesome. And I also love the little panels of the faces. It really contributes to the story arc, and and the way it's done is really fantastic. You've got two different ways. It's almost like a puzzle or a maze where you could go either this way and finish it, or go this way and finish it. It's really some really nice experimental artwork going on there, and I really love that. So the next page is by Paul Courtjohn, and I think that's, yeah. This is Paul Courtjohn. I really love his. He goes through these different phases, and he'll share his stuff with the crew in the crew chat room on Instagram, and it's really a pleasure to see him, because he's another experimenter, and he'll go through a phase where he's doing a lot of this ink spattering, or talk about dynamic. This is hugely dynamic. It looks kind of Frank Miller-ish here, which is awesome. I mean, who doesn't love Frank Miller? But it's got some real dynamics going on. It's got some really awesome panel layouts or image layouts to go to the next panel, and it shows the next panel, and next page, and it moves your eye perfectly. Awesomeness, not awkwardly. And I love the after effects that he's added, which is the gray tones and these duo shade, duo tone kind of thing. That's really, truly beautiful. So the next one is Gabe Ostle. And this is probably the first really cartoony looking aspect of Nightblade. It's beautiful. I love the background textures. This is really awesome textures. That's the first thing that really stands out to me, and the fantastic anatomy, exaggerated anatomy, long neck, just exaggerated everything. An awesome creature. It's a lot of imagination going on here, and the panels is very simple, but it works fantastically because it's just it goes together. It goes together. It's almost like every artist sees the previous pages and works off of it, not only story wise but artistically wise as well. I mean, everybody has a different style and a different technique, but I mean, it seems everybody seems to work off of the previous artist's rendition as well as the story. So the next one is Rodney King, and this is awesome. I love how soft this is, and I love the black background. A lot of artists don't use any kind of background. They'll just have white or whatever. The previous page had a lot of different textures in the background, but just having black is pretty cool too. And everything is very soft and malleable. It's cartoony, only it's a different kind of cartoony, and it's really nice as well. So who are we at? Nate Breen. This, I think, was the page that I was really thinking about Kevin ONeal. I feel like this is super Kevin ONealish. It's beautiful. I love the. It's almost like a TV monitor or a screen or something. So it's really awesome. Again, it doesn't have a lot of dynamic in the illustrations themselves, but in the layouts and the composition of the whole thing with the motorcycle and the motorcycle smashing and stuff. There's a lot of dynamic elements there. The next page, which is Marco Bellomo, has a lot of dynamic stuff going on, and it's really energetic, lots of energy. And again, the panels are not rulered or anything like that, but that's perfectly cool because it goes with the style and it goes with the story, and it's really awesome. I love, again, the panel layout. Kind of have like some big ones and then the smaller ones for story aspect. So it's not just people aren't doing just splash pages and one shot of Nightblades, which is really awesome. They're really sending the artwork into overdrive, and the artistry is truly there. I can really feel it. So then we have Nutria Loaf. I don't. Of course, I've seen this stuff before, but I don't remember that. I really love the line work, the inking. This is some beautiful line work and super dynamic. This is kind of like a wrestling kind of thing. Lots of blood and guts, and I love that. Super crisp and clean and really nice. So we have D. Palmer or Nutrioloaf. Sorry if I lost who's who, but there's so many gosh darn artists on this thing that it's awesome. Again, super line work. It adds to the story. Super creative characters and creations here. You've got Nightblade, and you've got this new character that he added to it, and this female character. And I love the line work. It's really beautifully inked. There's not a lot of blacks, but that's perfectly okay. Again, the rickety borders, which is awesome because it looks so different than the other artists. And here we go. And I know this one. This is Adam Yeater from Blood Desert. I'm losing my voice, so I'm gonna have to hurry it up, I guess. I love Adam's stuff. It's so it's so loose and intriguing and different than anybody else's. He has a lot of action, but not a lot of motion, which is really, really cool. I'm going to have to end it real quick here. Sorry, guys. So actually, I'm going to end it here at Adam Yeater, so there I'll know where to go next to. So we're not quite halfway. We're almost to the halfway. This is the halfway point. And it's a really fantastic comic. And I'm going to try to link how do you get issues in. And anyway, I will see you next time. And hope you enjoy the content. If you like this kind of content, consider subscribing and leaving a notification, hitting the notification bell. And I will see you guys next week.